Today's video is to help you get prepared for Sunday, which is Mother's Day. Moms, this is the perfect time to either hand your phone over to your husband or tag him in the comments, because if he hasn't mentioned anything about Sunday yet, I'm about to fill him in. Usually we offer parent devotional videos on Tuesdays, but today is a special episode of Sort of Baking with Jordan. Happy wife, happy life is probably a verse in the Bible, don't you think? We're going to make a cinnamon roll coffee cake that Dad and the kids can make on Sunday morning for Mom. It's like breakfast and dessert all in one. Now, I didn't do one of those 2 or 3 ingredient recipes because they usually taste like you only use 2 and 3 ingredients, and that's not that good. I did look up recipes that require ingredients you probably have at home already, and I'll include the original recipe in the comments so you can check that out too. Ready to get started? Okay, first you need coffee. This is not an ingredient in the recipe. This is just something you really need when you're working with kids in the morning. And if you think to yourself, Jordan, I've already had my coffee, or Jordan, I don't really like coffee, just remember that you're about to hand over a whisk and a bowl full of flour to your child. You need coffee. Looks good. Are you guys ready to get started? I'm ready to get started. It's so hot. I burned my tongue. All right, first let's get our oven preheated. We need to set the oven to 350 degrees. So press start and get that going. Now we'll get our supplies. You need a 9 by 13 pan, something like this, about this size. We're gonna make sure we spray this really, really good. So I've got some canola oil here. I'm just gonna spray all along the bottom, around the sides. All right, I've got my other supplies here. I've got a measuring cup, or 2 or 5, measuring spoons, whatever those are called, a measuring bowl. It's not for measuring, it's just for mixing, a mixing bowl. A regular bowl, a whisk, and then I've got all my ingredients. So for the cake, you'll need these ingredients. You'll need flour, salt, sugar, baking powder, eggs, milk, vanilla, butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon. Once you've got everything out, we're going to get started. So first we'll make the batter, and then we'll add in the cinnamon swirl. The awesome thing about this recipe is if you actually have a white cake mix, a boxed cake mix at home, you can use that instead of making the batter. I don't have one of those, so I'm gonna actually make the batter with these ingredients. If you do, just follow the instructions on the back of the box. All right, first you need 3 cups of flour. 2, 3. That's pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, your next ingredient is 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. 1/4 a teaspoon, so it's not too much. Pour that in. Your next ingredient that you need is 3/4 a cup of sugar. I'm just gonna pour this in. I'm actually using a cup, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that, and I think that's about 3/4 of the cup. Pour that in. Then you need 4 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda. I don't really know what the difference between those two are, but I know you don't use baking soda in this. And 4. Next, we need 1½ cups of milk. All right, so you're gonna pour that in. And the great thing about this recipe is to make the batter, you're just mixing it all together at one time. Then we need 2 eggs. Ooh, perfect. All right, 2 more ingredients. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2. Our last ingredient for the batter before we put in the cinnamon swirl is going to be 1/3 a cup of melted butter. So I just have a lot of little pieces, but what you need is 5 1/3 tablespoons. So just count that. To melt it, we're just gonna put it in a microwave safe bowl for about 40-45 seconds. Put it in the microwave, like I said, for about maybe 40 seconds. All right, it's all done. We're gonna mix up our cake. Bring this up here. This is the fun part for your kids, but it can get a mess. So be careful, get it mixed up really, really good. Make sure you get all that extra flour that might be on the bottom of the bowl mixed in really well. All right, and once that's mixed, we are going to pour this batter, this cake batter, into our pan that we already sprayed. So just go ahead and pour that in. You're probably gonna want to get a spatula to help you because a whisk is not really made for scraping. Oops, I didn't get all of the flour like I said to do. Just mix that up while you're pouring. It's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get a spatula because I think that's gonna help me. So you just kind of put that in the sink over there. We're gonna spread it all around so that it's covering the whole bottom of the pan and it's really even. All right, so right now it looks like this, and then we're gonna add our cinnamon swirl. Put that in the bowl. To melt it, we're just gonna put it in a microwave safe bowl for about 40-45 seconds. Put it in the microwave, like I said, for about maybe 40 seconds. All right, it's all done. Next, we're gonna add a half a cup of brown sugar. Oh, that was too much. That's okay though. It's just gonna be extra sweet. You can just pat that down. Brown sugar is it's made to be packed anyway, so it's okay if it was a little much. Pour that in. Then we're gonna add a couple more ingredients. 2 tablespoons of flour. 1, 2. And the last thing we need is 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. That comes out fast. All right, 1 tablespoon, pour that in, and then we're just gonna mix that all together. This is for your cinnamon swirl. So what you're gonna do for your cinnamon swirl is you're just gonna take globs of this and you're just gonna dump it on top of the cake, all over, and make sure the whole top is covered. You can just pour it too if you want to. You don't have to scoop it. All right, so yours might look something like this now. And then what we're gonna do to make sure the cinnamon gets all throughout the cake is we're gonna put our fork or our spoon, whatever you used, in until it touches the bottom, and we're just gonna start doing swirls like this, kind of mixing that cinnamon all into the batter, back and forth. All right, so when it's done, it'll look like this. It looks so good. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven, remember at 350, and it's gonna bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. And don't forget to set that timer. If you do that, you might burn your cake. So I'm gonna set mine bake time 35 minutes. And I'll come back and check it at about 30. So now we're gonna make our glaze for our cake. So for that, you'll need just 3 ingredients: powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla. All right, so get yourselves a clean bowl. We're gonna need 1 cup of powdered sugar. Whoa, be careful. All right, so 1 cup, we're gonna pour that in. This next ingredient is milk. So it says 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. So that's just up to your discretion. You just use as little or as much, 2 or 3, whatever. I'm gonna start with 2. 1, whoa, or 3. 3's good too. Whoa. Then your last ingredient for the icing is a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Now we're just gonna stir this up and make sure these ingredients get all combined together. And this is gonna go on the cake right when it comes out of the oven, when it's still warm, so it'll just soak into the cake really well and make it really good. We're gonna set that to the side and we're going to clean up our kitchen, all right? So get to cleaning. All right, now we've got our kitchen all cleaned up and the timer just went off, so we are going to get our cake out of the oven. So make sure you get some oven safe mitts and let the adult do this part. We're gonna turn off the oven, that's important. So turn that to off. All right, so here's my cake. I would say I did leave it in there for 35 minutes, but I'm still gonna put a toothpick in the cake just to make sure it's all the way done before I put my icing on. All right, so I've got this toothpick and it came out clean, so that means it's done. So I've got my icing and I'm just gonna drizzle this all over the cake while it's still really warm. Just like a big cinnamon roll. Your mom is gonna love this. I really like to get all the icing out of the bowl, so I'm just gonna scrape for a while, but you do whatever you like to do. So this is my finished product. I hope you guys had an awesome time baking together. If you wanna share your pictures in the comments, I would love to see them. Have a great day.